So you mentioned commander's intent in there, and it's definitely a critical part of any plan. And in fact, I would tell you that it is the most critical part of a plan, is what is the commander's intent? So what is the purpose of this mission? Why are we doing this mission? What is the end state that we're trying to get to? And if you wrap those things together, it's something that in the military we call commander's intent. That way the team knows where we're trying to get to. They know why we're trying to get there. That's what the commander's intent is for. Now, this is something that started with the Prussians when they fought against Napoleon. They started to get this idea of decentralized command, and one of the things that makes decentralized command work is this idea of commander's intent. Because if Leif knows what it is I want him to do, he knows why I want him to do it, and he knows the end state that we're going toward, it means that he can make all kinds of decisions without having to hear anything from me. And that's exactly what I want him to be able to do, and one of my other subordinate leaders and all my subordinate leaders. I want them all to be able to make decisions and lead towards this common goal, this common end state. And if we do a good job with that, we can have decentralized command. Now, the reason that I mentioned the Prussians and tying into the Germans, I read an article, and the Germans had said, well, you know, the Americans try and use commander's intent. And when they try and use commander's intent, they just take a PowerPoint brief with 150 slides, and their last slide, they have one slide that says, this is the commander's intent. And this German officer said that the commander's intent shouldn't be a little additional slide on the end of 150 other slides. The commander's intent should be able to replace all those other slides. That's the power of the commander's intent. If the team knows the end state, they know the mission, they know the purpose, and they know the why, they really don't need to hear anything else. They can go figure it out. That's why commander's intent is important inside of a plan, and that's why I think it's the most important thing inside of a plan.
So we talked about contingency plans, and this is one of the most important things. As Jocko said, things are always going to go wrong. Nothing's ever going to go perfectly. So you've got to think through the likely things that could happen, and then put together a plan to prepare the team to be able to handle those problems. There's a caveat here, though. You can't plan for every contingency. And if you try to plan for every single contingency, you're going to bog the team down. No one's going to understand. The plan is going to be too complex, and they're not going to be prepared to execute the things that are likely to happen. For us on the battlefield, we would generally plan an enemy's most likely course of action. So that's what do we actually think our enemies are going to do, and then we try to prepare for that. And we would also have an enemy's most dangerous course of action. That's the worst case scenario that could happen to us. We would then have to put a plan in place to try to prevent that from happening or mitigate the risks of it getting out of control if it were to happen.
But like Leif said, some people would get crazy with contingencies. And so we would usually make fun of them by saying, well, you better come up with a plan. If an alien spaceship lands in the middle of the target building, what are you going to do then? We don't want to go that far. We don't want to go that far. Figure out what could happen. Figure out what's the most dangerous thing to have happen. Come up with some contingency plans, move forward, and execute.